Your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet.
What disaster is so powerful, it unleashes a chain of mass pandemics, economic meltdowns, and violent food riots, all at the same time? NASA has already set the countdown timer, and right now the 21st century apocalypse is less than 13 months away. Former CIA Director James Woolsey says 2/3 of U.S. population could perish. In a matter of seconds, the world as we know it will cease to exist. The world's economy will be wiped out. Mass riots will follow. Ancient diseases will reemerge. How will you shield yourself and your loved ones from this upcoming apocalypse? Go to darkestdays.info to find out proven methods of protecting yourself, your loved ones, and even your entire community when this worst-case scenario unravels. That's darkestdays.info. darkestdays.info. Go there before this life-saving information becomes unavailable to the large public. Go to darkestdays.info now.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
This is going to be the next big question for all these presidential candidates, how they feel about mandatory vaccines.
It's time to get back in their face. They're trying to bully us into medical tyranny.
I wanted to take issue with you anti-vaxxers, right-wingers, rednecks.
It's about Big Brother, but on the other hand, some things do require some involvement of Big Brother.
What gives you the right to tell me that I should get a shot, that my children should be shot?
I don't think there's anything extraordinary about resorting to freedom.
Hillary Clinton took to Twitter to voice her support for vaccinations. The science is clear. The earth is round, the sky is blue, and vaccines work. Let's protect all our kids.
I can't swallow and I spots on my tongue. And I just want to tell anybody out there, if you get a shot, you're a fool.
Meanwhile, the insert says it can make you get measles. Understand that?
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
But I think the parents should have some input. The state doesn't own your children. Parents own the children, and it is an issue of freedom.
But the 10% can't go to school unless you get vaccinated.
The science of vaccines, which work effectively 100% of the time. And the white race...
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, you haven't read the CDC memo, have you? It was 99% last week. Now they're telling people it's 97%. So it's not 100% even by their own statistics.
Meanwhile, the outbreak was caused by vaccinated people!
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
Yeah, that's the question, you know. Sometimes you need Big Brother. Is that really what Megyn Kelly said? Of course, anybody that watches Fox News knows that Fox News calls for Big Brother on a variety of issues. They want Big Brother when it comes to the drug war. They want Big Brother when it comes to torturing people at Gitmo. Remember the Fox News commentator who just said, we're awesome. And all this complaining about torturing people at Gitmo, that's just because they're upset about how awesome we are. They also want Big Brother when it comes to protecting themselves from something like the Charlie Hebdo shooting. So you have another Fox commentator who says, we need to not worry about militarizing the police. We need to hyper-militarize, over-militarize the police. I want to see these guys on the streets with machine guns. They're pushing Big Brother everywhere. Some people may think that they're libertarians, but they're not. And if that's the difference between conservatives and libertarians, then whatever. But the bottom line is that they're always pushing for large government programs. They're pushing for, well, people come in and they want something as simple as an education. So what do they push on people? They push government schools that we have to pay a fortune for. They try to make them mandatory. Right now, we've got a personal exemption if you want to get out of the government schools. Of course, the government school bureaucracy is not very happy about that. They want to reestablish their dominance there, just as they don't want you to have any kind of personal belief exemptions or medical exemptions to not take a vaccine. And we were just talking about this editorial out of the LA Times that says, finally, we're going to get rid of consent. That's what they're really talking about. We just played excerpts from 60 Minutes investigation into the 1976 swine flu epidemic. It wasn't an epidemic except for the vaccine. They vaccinated 40-some-odd million people, and they had 4,000 people who were seriously injured or died from that vaccine. And as Mike Wallace talked to the head of the CDC, and of course, this guy never went to jail. He was never fined. The CDC was never penalized. The pharmaceutical companies that created this dangerous vaccine that harmed people, they didn't go to jail either. But he has the nerve to say, no, we didn't know. We'd heard that maybe there were some cases, but we hadn't really verified that. Nevertheless, they scared everybody into getting this dangerous vaccine. They put out a consent form because in those days they thought they needed people's consent, and yet on the consent form, they lied. They switched the vaccine up. What they had information about on the form was not what they were giving people. But you hear these figures of 99% effectiveness all the time, or 100% effectiveness, as some of the callers have called in. That's not true. We have an article up on Infowars.com still. Flashback. Measles among vaccinated Quebec kids are questioned. 52 out of 98 teens who caught the measles were fully vaccinated, many of them vaccinated twice. This was something that was released in 2011. They talked about this. Now, of course, that's not 99% effective. That's 47% effective in that particular case. 53% of the people who got it had been vaccinated twice for measles. Nevertheless, we see people who are not vaccinated as the scapegoats. They're being demonized everywhere because they want to push this medical tyranny on us. Look at this story from The Guardian. The headline says, measles outbreak spreads in the U.S. after an unvaccinated woman visits Disneyland. But if you read the article, it says the California Department of Public Health said on January 7th that officials believe a person infected with measles was staying at the Disneyland theme park in December. That unknown patient then infected others at the park. Patient 0 was not the unvaccinated woman. Many people were infected, and yet they focus on this one person who is unvaccinated. And then they go on to say that, well, 90% of the people who have not been vaccinated will come down with the disease. Listen, there's another case in 2011. First, we got this case I just mentioned. 52 out of 98 teens at a school who caught measles had been vaccinated twice, most of them. We got another case out of 2011. Measles Mary, an outbreak amongst the vaccinated patients. Now, in this particular case, patient 0 was a twice vaccinated 22-year-old woman. She then had contact with 88 other people. All of the people who got measles from her, the 4 who did, were all vaccinated individuals. 2 of them had vaccination records, as patient 0 did, that showed that they had been vaccinated twice. The other 2 people had been vaccinated, according to what they found in their blood, but they didn't have their records. So we've got 5 people who come down with it. The person who starts it is vaccinated. And of course, this is something that was talked about in Science Magazine and many other publications at the time. This came out last April 2014. They said, well, you weren't supposed to be able to transmit the disease just as a vaccinated individual. It's not supposed to be able to transmit the disease. They say in the insert that you can come down with measles-like symptoms because they don't want to say that you can come down with measles. You're being injected with live measles. They say it's weakened. But what if something went wrong? What if you do come down with measles? That's what happened in these particular cases. People could still come down with measles, and they showed that when this woman came down with measles, she was able to transmit that to others. In other words, she didn't have measles-like symptoms. She actually had measles. She had been vaccinated twice. Now, contrast what we're being told. Contrast the way people are being demonized who haven't been vaccinated, because quite frankly, we have concerns not only about the efficacy of the vaccine, if it's effective or not, and we see that in many of these cases, That's not the case. They're telling us that it's 99% effective, yet there was an outbreak last year in California before this Disneyland outbreak where they had 18% of the people who came down with it were vaccinated. That's not a 99% protection. In this particular case in Disneyland, 14% of the people that got it were vaccinated. That's not 99%. In the case of 2011, 100% of the people who got it were vaccinated. And if you go back and you look at that, they're telling us, again, that 90% of the people who aren't vaccinated are going to come down with it. They also tell us, the CDC's numbers, these are both CDC numbers, they also tell us that in New York State, 90% of the people have been vaccinated. So that would mean if you apply those numbers that out of the 88 people that were exposed, there should have been 9 people who were exposed to this if you hold with the 90% vaccination rate. And 90% of those should have come down with it. Where are those patients? Didn't happen. Out of 231 tertiary contacts, third one level removed, nobody got it. Yet we're told that this is a life-threatening disease. We all need to be vaccinated. When I was a child, before the measles vaccine, it was not considered to be a serious disease. There were about 4 million, according to the CDC's numbers again, 4 million people a year were getting measles. There were about 400 people who died each year. And of course, everybody likes to talk about Roald Dahl's daughter who died before the vaccine was available. Nevertheless, that is a 99.99% chance you're not going to die if you get measles. A 99.99% chance. That is not a life-threatening disease. Yet look at the way they treated Ebola when it came. We had the CDC lying to us about the precautions that they were taking, bringing in people who had the disease, transmitting that disease to nurses who took care of them because they were not following the kind of procedures that were necessary or even knew what the procedures were. That is a disease where 70 to 90% of the people die. Completely the opposite. Can you understand that there's some kind of an agenda here where they're lying to you, where they're telling you, shut up and listen to people in authority, and if you don't listen to people in authority, we're going to go ahead and stick you against your consent. 40 years ago, they lied to people on the information handouts. They're still lying to people on the information handouts, but they don't even care about your consent anymore. Stay with us right after the break. We're going to be talking to Paul Joseph Watson in the UK about another place where they're lying to us, another scientific study, man-made global warming. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules, you will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. wild-crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of oil of oregano. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.